Am I imagining that she's like the Neo of Person of Interest? Like you have this crazy connection to the machine?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Now that Samaritan's online, though, we're having to be a little bit more careful. I'm not getting to communicate as freely with her as I did in the past. So it's going. There's a lot of more cryptic messaging and puzzles that she's giving me bits and pieces of information instead of the full-on
Crumbs.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
What about Ruth's evolution? I mean, she started the season as, a psychopathic crazy woman, and somehow ended the season as like the sane,
right?
Like how, and then crazy about crazy, and then
That was match made in heaven.
it was. So how did that happen? It was just all of a sudden I was like, Ruth's awesome. I was like, wait a minute.
Just the writers are. I don't know if when they told me I was doing a few episodes in season 2, I don't know if they knew this was going to happen or not. But I think just the really good chemistry me and the machine had probably.
Both of you seem to have had major losses of parents in your backgrounds, and you both have sort of that hard edge of having not dealt with probably some of that loss. How do you see that in your characters and how that shapes you?
I think, there's very little. I remember when I first got the role, I wrote Jonah this 2-page email about her history, where she came from, the kind of pizza she likes, the kind of alcohol she drinks, how she likes to fuck. I did this whole thing, and he was like, nah, we'll just kind of figure it out. And I was like, okay, so in answer to your question, I would love to dive into Shaw's backstory. Part of the reason I took the job was because of the character and, how stormy and dark and yeah, troubled she seemed. But we haven't really gotten there where we get to explore it. But yes, clearly girlfriend has some issues, and she hasn't addressed. So.
Where are we going to find him in the premiere? I can't imagine Shaw in suburbia baking cakes and doing all this. Stuff.
Really? Really?
Our undercover, I'm sure you guys know, we can't tell you what our undercover identities are, but they're situations that are not natural to us, and it brings for a lot of funny to the episodes, because you are watching something that doesn't match, and but it's tricky, because within that, my character, she has this appetite for violence. She's like a shark in water. She's got to keep swimming. She's got to keep going. So, the machine finally gives us a number, and my character is just hungry for it, and so she gets wind of the number, and Reese and I, we pair up to go into the situation, but we have to be very careful about it because Samaritan is watching, and not only are they watching, but they have people and they're recruiting. So I can't make too much noise or I'll draw notice to myself. So anyway, it's a very fine dance kind of that our characters have to do.
My question is, the two of you started off as, your characters started off as adversaries, and now you're kind of like best friends, BFFs, hanging out, and you really enjoy spending time going out drinking together. Like, can you guys talk about how that worked, how you played that?
I did kidnap her.
Right, at the beginning there was kidnapping happening.
But who doesn't love to be tortured with an iron, girls? Come on, you like that.
Can you talk about how that changed as it went on through the last season especially?
Yeah, I feel like somebody like Shaw, she wants to go where the most violent situation is. I could even see Shaw one day saying F you to all of the team and joining Samaritan. I can totally see that with her. I think she's dark enough, and she's kind of a loner enough. Did you ever see the movie The Heat with Robert De Niro?
Yes.
She's kind of like, she's part of a team, but she's still operating on her own in some ways. I think for her route, is somebody who she knows will deliver a good time, aka lots of violence. And I think there is some trust that she has found within her. Like Shaw has put some trust in her because their Root saved her ass a couple times. And yeah, so I think, that. And then also they just keep writing things like Shaw and Root are inches away from each other's face. So, so we saw what was happening. We're no dummies. This isn't our first time. I was on the L word for a while. I knew what was happening.
I think back also to what you were saying about, they do have some similarities in their past, and I think for me it's being admiring who she is and what she does and how she does it, and also it's fun to mess with her. So.
Yeah.
Do you think with your relation with the machine, does the machine ever listen to Root, or does the machine just tell Root, you need to do this, you need to do this?
Up until this point, it doesn't seem like I'm giving any advice to the machine. So I'll be interested to see how long she can go without that happening. It seems like there's been, there was times last year where I was really questioning why the machine was putting me in situations and trying to get answers from the machine that she was making me figure out on my own. But I feel like that could ultimately become like a conflict of interest of like, wait, I want to have a say in what's happening too. As of right now, the machine's not looking for help from anyone, advice.
So particularly at the beginning of the season, you had some awesome, crazy, best to describe them, scenes. What was your favorite scene to do this year? This last season?
I mean, the one like big speech to the psychiatrist that Jonah wrote was pretty awesome. That was really fun, and being tortured was a lot of fun. And the episode we got to do that was kind of us two together was one of my favorites. Yeah.
It does seem like the way you described it, especially the way you described it as like addict and enabler type relationship. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Yes, that is. That's great. I'm going to use that.
Are you? Okay.